Plaintiffs Jennifer Moore and her fiancé Jeff Powell say Jennifer's son, the defendant, is an alcoholic in denial. Jennifer claims she's taken her son to the emergency room several times due to his addiction, and they are desperate to get him some help. Jeff and Jennifer are suing her son for unpaid rent and truck damages. Defendant Josh Conyer says he and his mom have always had a rocky relationship, and as a result, he started smoking pot at the age of 12. Josh claims his drug use progressed into cocaine and LSD use, and he and his mother even used crystal meth together. Josh denies owing for rent because he insists he did manual labor in exchange for the rent.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Prove your case.
This is my son. He's my only child. I would like to submit a picture. And I want you to, this is just a couple of years ago. And I would like for you to look at him now. My son is an alcoholic. He's in denial of it. I took him to the emergency room a couple months ago. I've been in and out of the hospital near death 2 months ago myself, but I took him to the emergency room and it was finalized because the doctor came in and told him, he said, Josh, I can't help you if you don't stop drinking. So I knew then he had a problem.
What do you think happened in the last 2 years to cause that?
I don't know. His marriage has failed. He's lost his job recently.
I promise you those two things play a big factor.
Yes, but he is
people think that when folks in the inner city drink and use drugs is just because they have some type of predisposition to do so. And as we're seeing with this recession, that there's been a dramatic increase in folks who live in rural, suburban, any part of the nation, in increased alcohol and drug addiction. And psychologists say that when a man loses his ability to provide for his family, he wants to escape into a world that lessens this pain. So he drinks his problems away, or he smokes crack or uses heroin to dope his problems away. And they end up becoming an addiction. And typically, the man might leave his family, leave his children, because he doesn't want to stay around and look at the daily pain of being emasculated. Because if you don't have a job, you feel like you're not a real man. Your wife or your woman talks crazy to you about not having a job. So instead you leave the household and you become a drug addict or an alcoholic. So hopefully he hasn't left his child behind.
No, he hasn't.
Good. All right. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, ma'am. That if a man lost his job and he has, what else?
His marriage has failed.
Yeah,
his
marriage has failed. Marriage probably failed because of financial problems.
And
probably has something to do with that. So, go ahead.
I'm not here, though, to judge him or be mean to him. I'm his mother. I love him.
Good. You're just here to sue him over these over these truck damages and unpaid rent.
The truck is not mine. The truck is Jeff's. He's my fiance. The house has also been in Jeff's name because of my health. The house was my nest egg, is all I had. And it was up for sale when my son approached me about renting it. And I said, it's for sale.
Let me allow him to give me a little background first, and then we'll get into the specifics of your rent and truck damage lawsuit. Sir?
Well, first of all, I love my mom. Regardless, we've always had a rocky relationship throughout my childhood.
How? Regarding what? Give me some examples.
Well, there was an evening, 12, 13 years old I was, and her fiance, or at the time I think they were married.
Yeah, you've been fiance for a long time, Doc.
No.
Oh.
This was her ex-husband, my ex-stepfather.
All right.
And I don't know if it was meth or marijuana or whatever drinking, but it had something to do with drugs. And I had walked in, she had actually a .22 long rifle out. I guess in the heat of the moment, she had turned and pointed it at me and told me to go upstairs to my room. So of course I did. I didn't come back down till the next morning, but I'd found out that a truck that we had owned at the time had been shot, and that my dog had been shot at also.
And you think she did it?
I know for a
What
fact.
was wrong with her? Why was she living like that?
Drug use.
Okay.
Her and her
You on
ex.
crystal meth?
No,
You never used it.
I have used it.
Right.
Throughout my teenage years, I started smoking marijuana when I was 12 and a half years old. Just kept getting worse and worse.
I started smoking weed when I was a kid too, and just never went to anything else. I mean, not that I don't smoke weed now. I mean, I stopped. Not that I don't smoke weed and I don't do anything. I didn't go to anything else, and I stopped smoking weed. Maybe I should have said it that way. It sounds like I'm saying I started that and never stopped that, and that's no. Go ahead, sir. So my point is, you're saying you started that and it became a gateway to all the other
Yes,
things.
15, 16, I started using cocaine, LSD, those types of things, which I have discontinued use of that. We have done drugs together, meth, weed, all that type of
You
stuff.
and your mom did crystal meth together.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am,
No.
you've never gotten high with
No.
him, period.
No.
No type of drugs.
No. No.
Go ahead. Truck damages and rent. How does he owe you for that?
The rent, the house, like I said, was my nest egg. And at the time he approached me about renting it, I had actually wanted to put it up for sale. So I told him it would be a month till he got on his feet.
How much?
And $350. And he agreed to that. He said he just need a little bit of time. And a couple months turned into now a year and a half. He's been using the electric in my name all this time. We've asked him to get it switched over.
How much does he owe you in unpaid rent?
$1,050.
What months?
May, June, and July.
Yeah.
Sir?
I had been paying $350 up until about, I would say, 6 to 8 months ago.
Did you pay May, June, and July?
I paid May.
Why didn't you pay June and July?
I'd been laid off, and we had come to an agreement. I put up hog panels and hung insulation, got paneling, helped get paneling out of a house
Was that part of the agreement?
it was part of the monthly rent agreement. Yeah, paying it forward.
Okay, so you're saying,
I traded labor for the rent.
right, what months? All the back months?
Yes.
So that's your defense to the $1,050 is that you were to trade labor on the home
Yes.
and thereby wipe out that debt.
Not on the actual property that we're talking about. It's a piece of property.
Some other property.
Yes.
That was the agreement.
Yes.
I don't owe you $1,050 as long as I do ABC.
Yes.
All right, sir, ma'am.
No. Oh, well,
He
yes,
just-
he did. He agreed to it first. But it was not in the original agreement. But because he had gotten laid off and he was waiting for his unemployment, he came and worked
So he's
a total
telling the
of
truth?
20 hours in the last 3 months. That's it. Because he's been in the hospital 2 or 3 times a week throwing up.
So he hasn't been able to do it
No.
because of an illness.
Exactly.
All right, so that doesn't mean he's not. That means mom should give him a break. He's tried 20 hours
Many
of it.
thousands of dollars of breaks I've given him. This woman here, I don't know why she's here, but I took care of her son and his girlfriend for 8 months in his
Well,
house.
then that's why she's
I
here
would
to
like
get some
to
more
see
taken
that.
care of.
While I was
See the pictures of what he did to this brand new
While I
place
was-
and the filth that my grandson is living in.
Truck damages. Why are you suing him for truck damages?
Because the truck is owned by Jeff. I asked him if he'd go out and run a favor for me. I had stepped on a nail and couldn't walk. I couldn't pick up the feed bag that I needed to use to feed the animals on our farm. We would have
Okay,
2, 3.
so it's all right when you injure yourself and he has to come to your rescue, but it's not all right after he's done part of the work you all agreed to. He injures himself. You can't delay his agreement.
I did not intentionally step on a nail. He
He
intentionally
didn't-
puts a bottle of vodka to his mouth
All right,
every night.
truck damages, ma'am.
The truck damages, when he went out there to do it, he was not very happy about doing, but he obliged. Got in the truck, got ready. My brother had moved it, and it was raining. He got in it and buried it to the bumpers. My brother, there's a statement from him, a witness statement, that Josh was very upset. He was slam shifting the gears, and he burned it up. He burned the transmission up right where it sat.
Sir?
He is actually now living with her, so I'd say that is actually a pretty biased opinion. But what happened was we were out there and we had a list of things to do, feed the pigs, grab an assortment of things. So I pulled the truck up to where I know that we can park because it's out in the middle of the woods.
And what happened?
I'm in the woodshed. Next thing I know, Mr. Callis, her brother, gets into the truck and pulls it directly down by the pig pen, which I knew was a big no-no. And we're out in the middle of nowhere. Truck has no radio. We have no means of communication because my phone doesn't have it's out in the middle of nowhere. I had no bars. So what we tried to do, we both tried to get the truck out. I tried to get the truck out. He tried to get the truck out. We both pushed. We both pulled. It was in the middle of a severe thunderstorm. It was lightning, wind, heavy rain. And I knew as soon as he pulled it down there that we were screwed. We were stuck. So I didn't drive the truck to the spot that it got stuck. Yes, I did try to get the truck out. But I would ask you the same question of what would you do if you were stuck in the middle of nowhere with no means of communication in the middle of a thunderstorm? Try to get the truck out or just sit there and wait until the rain.
The storm passes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do. Wait until the storm passes. So she had the opportunity to sue both of you or either of you. Both of you sound responsible, her brother and you. In this case, she's only suing you, and I'm going to have to hold you accountable. Now, you can sue her brother to pay you half of the judgment, but today I must grant truck damages for how much?
$2,260.
You have anything there to show me?
Yeah, there's a receipt.
And ma'am, the rent, I'm not going to grant you that because as you admit, you all had an agreement that he would work off the rent by doing some work on the home. And you say, well, he's only done 20 hours worth. And the reason he's only done 20 hours worth is because he's been sick. Well, ma'am, he hasn't had the opportunity to fulfill the agreement then. I'm not going to grant that yet. You're too early to sue for the exchange of work to knock off the rent. $2,260 for the damage to the car. You in rehab? You been to rehab? What's your status on rehab?
Alcohol?
Yeah.
I have actually been doing much better with it.
How?
I don't drink every single.
How?
I haven't gone to rehab or anything like that. But
I'm going to have you go and be evaluated for alcoholism and drug addiction. If the doctors determine you are addicted to either of the two, then I'm going to order you to rehab. Have a good day.
Thank you. I love him. I don't want to. She's an enabler. She's a pillhead and an alcoholic also.
You're on meth right now.
Him.
He can pass a follicle test. You could not. You could not.
Get away
Jennifer.
from me.
You
This is my
up.
child. This is my child. I raised him.
He calls me mom. That's
I
your
don't
biggest
care.
problem.
Get away from us. He needs help. He will not until you get help. Josh, look at you. You're gaunt. You look terrible. What an example are you being for your son?
What example are you as a grandmother? Throw him out on the street so I have to take care of him?
I own my own house. I own my own truck. I own several properties. If I was a drug head and pill user, would I have all that?
You come over and bum Xanax for me and tell me, give me
you
five,
have
give me
Xanax?
five.
That would be nice to have one right now.
It's been going on my entire life. Nothing's going to change.